Hello everyone, today we're going to talk about Delco radios, adding an auxiliary input. The radio that we're going to be doing today is a 95 to 97. When you look at your radio and you want to get one, this unit has a separate card inside for doing the FM modulator. So what you want to do is you want to look at this lower corner where the antenna plugs in, and it's going to be nice and flat. If it's nice and flat, it's the one we're talking about today. So look at the front. This is our radio. Now it's going to have some knobs across here. You can leave those there. We're going to take out the knob that's here and the knob that's on the top. Then what we'll do is there's going to be some screws that you can take off from the bottom. There's one over here and a couple around here. We're going to pop this out. That's going to expose the FM card, AM/FM modulator. Okay, there's going to be some screws around there. We're going to pull that out. We have a connector right here. You can actually pull this connector off while you're doing your work and make it a separate component. You're also going to want to go ahead and pull off the front faceplate. Now that you've pulled out at least this one knob right here, you'll be able to physically pull this off. It's got some clips all the way around. Pull those off. It's going to come off in two pieces. This one's already been redone. You're going to take this cover off. Once that cover is off, you're going to have access, if you want to drill a hole right in here so that you can put the jack in there for your iPod or iPhone or whatever it is you want to plug in. Now, the jack that we're going to use, you have to be careful. If you're going to put it in here, you're going to have to run these wires. 2 wires for each input, so a total of 4 plus a ground. Okay, this ground will have to make sure that goes to ground on the unit eventually. So this is going to be your left and right channel. When you do this, you have that option of putting it on the front faceplate, or you can run those wires back to any place that you want to, say in your glove box or somewhere else that you can plug in that's more secure. Now if you're going to do that, you're going to have to run some wire like this. You're going to have to separate the wires, because if you don't separate the wires from the in and out, which I'll show you in a minute, you're going to get crosstalk. And you're going to be hearing noise from the FM or AM modulation onto your iPad input or iPhone input or whatever it is you're doing to that 3.5 jack. So it's got to have a shield. So you're going to run 2 sets of this. This has 2 wires in it, plus you can use one of these as a ground, and then you have to run one more for the one that's going back. So our object is to break the communication between the modulator, AM/FM modulator, to the amplifier board. So we're going to have this shield that allows us to prevent crosstalk. Here, this is the signal that it looks like for your sound channel. Okay, so when I see something like that, it tells me that that's the channel I'm looking for. So the scope is usually the better way to go, or if you have a really sensitive, voltmeter, you should be able to pick it up. Okay, so now what I've done, let me go ahead and turn it off. What I've simply done is tied these wires in series. So one of these wires is going to go into my jack in the corner here, come out of the jack, and back to the amplifier board. Okay? Once I do that, I can now utilize this jack. Now keep in mind a couple of things. One, this ground. This is that ground shield for that jack. You need to make sure that that's in a really good ground position, and I'll show you why in a minute. We're going to go ahead and hook up to my iPhone. And I've got my 3.5 jack. And we're going to go ahead and hook it into here. And I'll show you what happens if you don't have a good ground. You hear all the noise? As soon as I hook the ground up. Without a good ground. So if you're getting a lot of noise, or you're hearing some FM on there, like hearing the radio station, that's going to mean that you've got some crosstalk on the wires and you're going to have to clean up your wires. Usually that only happens if you're running the jack external. So again, if you're running the jack external, you want to go ahead and run separate in and separate out wires with separate shields. So if this is properly grounded, and again, your ground, once you put all this back together, can go to anywhere to the case. And that's my sound. So I can also go just to show you that that's what it is. We'll play another song. So it sounds pretty good, and it's pretty easy to do. Again, just a 3.5 jack, and just break between the FM modulator. If you would like to see more examples of this for other radios, please just let us know. We will be doing another one, and this is on the next generation of this same radio, which doesn't have a separate FM modulator. And we'll see you again soon. Thank you.